Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy from 2004. And joining me today to chat about this movie is writer and artist Jack Markham. How are you, Jack?
I'm all right. It's good to be back again. I feel like I'm haunting your channel at this point.
Listen, it's good to have the regulars. Yourself and Owen have become channel regulars, which is awesome. So
Yeah, it's great to do these. I really enjoyed making these videos, and it's always different. Like we've never done the same thing twice, which is
you
I have to
just
give credit to you as a host. Like I'm always I'm always doing different stuff with you.
keep you on your toes.
Yeah,
This channel's like a box of chocolates. Only
exactly. Like when I get a text or a call off you, I'm like, oh God, what are we doing now?
that's lovely. Thank you.
No, in a good way. It's like I always answer straight away because it's like, oh, it's something different. Okay, I'll have to see what it is.
Yeah, I'm still recovering from our IMDb game.
I have an idea for a game as well, but that's a separate live stream. And but yeah, but that IMDb thing was just so funny, man. We just
Oh, my face was fucking hurting me from laughing.
I think it was the single funniest video I've ever made in my life. Like, and
It's
because me and you were just it was so unexpected. I was looking back at it and it was like you definitely threw these films in here to just fuck with me.
oh, I planned it all right. I knew what I was doing. So Jack, I just have to like reach for something across the way. So you just keep the listeners entertained for like literally 10 seconds.
Okay, well, what can I tell the listeners in 10 seconds? Um,
All right, I'm
Apparently the
back.
pyramids are fucking old.
I hear
That's what
they're
I was
quite
telling your
old.
listeners.
Yeah,
The pyramids are fucking old, man.
yeah. That's how the Egyptians got rich. All these pyramid schemes.
Those damn capitalist Egyptians.
Goddamn
Oh,
mummies,
that's good.
boy.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, so we're talking about Hellboy. So, Jack, when's the last time you watched Hellboy?
I think I watched this when I was about, what, 2004. I might have been about 10 or 11, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. Or maybe it was earlier because I remember watching it about 10 or 11 because when it came out, it wasn't allowed because I think it was too violent for 8-year-old Jack. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did go over to my uncle's house. My uncle Stephen showed it to me, and I thought it was awesome. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then I hadn't watched it since, and then I watched it last week and watched it again last night. So I've seen it 3 times altogether.
Yeah. And when you watched it again, like obviously a long period of time had passed, did your opinion on the movie change much, or was it about the same as the first time you experienced it?
I think I have more of a love for it now
Yeah.
because I don't know if you get this, but if you haven't seen something in years and you don't remember it that well, and you go back and watch it with fresh eyes, you actually realize how good it really is,
Yeah. And
that you don't just remember it as it was all right, it was grand. You actually be like, oh yeah, that's actually a really good film.
yeah, and I find when you have more writing experience and knowledge, you appreciate the little things in the movie, little writing things here and there that you wouldn't have really understood, like what they were trying to achieve.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. You can see where the writers are coming from. Especially I was reading the comic that this film is based on, and you can absolutely see where the writers were going with the designs and the how dark they wanted to go, with the whole Nazi symbolism and stuff like this, and
Yeah, yeah,
all
exactly.
this dark supernatural stuff. You could tell that there was a real creative mind
Yeah, I
writing. Yeah.
I love the style of this movie. Like
Mm.
I think it's a really cool style, and it's a really good looking movie as well. Like I think you could have released this a few years ago, and it would have been, it would have looked good.
Yeah, there's a really good. It's really, yeah, you're right. It is. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Um, like when Abraham is under the water and it's like night vision. I
Yeah,
thought that was just class.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
like they didn't have to do that. They could have just done an underwater scene, but they went that extra mile, and it just
Yeah,
It's little moments like that that kind of
yeah,
um, make it interesting, more interesting than it would have been, you know.
exactly. All right,
Mm,
so the cast, we got the great Ron Perlman as the titular Hellboy, which I thought was a great choice.
mm. Love him, yeah, he's brilliant.
We got Selma Blair as Liz Sherman. We got Doug Jones as Abe Sapien. We got John Hurt
Yeah.
as Professor Broom.
Oh
Rupert
yeah, legend.
Legend, yeah, his voice is so good. Whoever they got a young guy to play him in the opening, but you can tell it's John Hurt by the voice.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like John Hurt did like the ADR. What is it called, ADR? When they voice over it in a
Yeah,
studio.
yeah, and they maybe kind of
Yeah.
tweaked it or something. I don't know. I don't know if it was that or the actual actor, but it was really clear that was him. So that was cool. So we have
Do you
Rupert.
reckon?
Go for it.
Sorry. Do you reckon anytime John Hurt signs onto a project, the director comes to him in the editing phase and goes, "John, do you mind just narrating the beginning of the film?" because
Well, like,
because whenever you're watching a film and you don't know he's in it, you hear his voice, you're like, "Oh shit, John Hurt's in it, right?"
if I had to pick someone to narrate my life, it would be John Hurt.
You know what? Yeah, it's not a bad call. Like,
it's so distinct and cool.
great
Yeah.
storytelling voice he has.
Oh,
You know,
100%. Yeah. I don't know if he's ever done audiobooks, but he should.
I think he's dead. Is he? Is he still alive?
Oh, you might be right. I'm not sure. So, yeah. I don't know. Did you ever think of like a celebrity and you're like, I'm not sure if they're alive or dead?
I'm pretty sure I heard that he died. Hang on one second. I'm just doing some quick research.
Yeah, Jack's on the case.
I'm investigating.
Just like
Oh yeah,
Hellboy.
he died in 2017.
Oh, man. Okay. Right.
God love him. He's 77. Anyway, yeah,
Yes.
that just thought we cleared that up.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So we got Rupert Evans as John Myers,
hmm
and we got what's his name? The guy from Arrested Development. Oh, Jeffrey Tambor as Tom Manning. There we go. So that's our cast. It's a really good cast. I think
Yeah,
everyone's pretty good in this movie.
really
Um,
good characters as well. Like your man, Jeffrey Tambor. Um, he must be. It's like he works well with the script because he's really good at being that unlikable, pretentious
yes, yeah,
business prick.
yeah.
That's like I'm in charge. He's very good at that, you know.
He does make you hate him, at least initially.
Yeah, I know.
He d-
Yeah, that
he
like there is a kind of a bit of a redemption there, but
bit of an arc.
yeah,
It goes,
I was
yeah,
kind of waiting for him to get his head chopped off, like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Same. I thought maybe, but yeah. So the movie opens with the Nazis trying to open a portal because they want the world to end, or at least Rasputin does. Um, so
yeah.
our goodies, and we see a young Doctor Broom and a team of soldiers on their way to try and stop them, and then we get our first big action scene, and that's when we see Cronin, who is a real intimidating villain, isn't he?
Cronin, you mean Rasputin? Uh,
No, the guy who has like sand for blood.
oh yeah, Jesus, yeah. What was the deal with him?
He was, yeah,
He was like,
he's
I thought he was meant to be the homunculus, which is a character from Hellboy comics. It's a dead inanimate body that if it gets a spark of electricity, it comes to life.
right.
But it's a totally different character because it has like all this sand and stuff. So I actually wasn't familiar with who it was.
Yeah,
But
he's
I
got
loved him. I thought he was awesome with his blades and everything. It's
yeah,
class,
yeah,
yeah.
he's so good. He's got a surgical addiction. Like he's done all kinds of mad stuff to his body.
Mm,
And as
that
I
was creepy, yeah, when he was explaining that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
as your man says, like his blood dried up long ago, and it's just sand. So yeah, we get our first big action scene, and like there's violence in this movie, but they don't overdo it with the gore or gruesomeness. I think they strike a nice balance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a film that takes itself way too seriously.
Yeah,
Uh, Like it's not. I mean, I know it's Nazis, but it's not going to be a Tarantino Nazi film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So it is friendly. You know, it's like I think what is it rated 12s? Yeah, I think it's rated 12s. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um. So it is entertaining. And there actually was when I was watching it last night again, I noticed that there's a really small detail that wouldn't have picked up on the first time, which is at the scene at the beginning with the Nazis, young John Hurt gets shot in the leg, and it's like a 3 second shot. Like you blink and you miss it kind of thing.
Do you know
And
what?
then
I didn't pick
for
up on that.
yeah, for the rest of the film, old John Hurt is walking around with a cane.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that. I watched it
So
yesterday,
subtle.
and I just
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's a nice little detail.
Mm.
So yeah, they managed to fight off the Nazis and close the portal. There's a cool shot of someone getting sucked into the portal. That looks really cool. Like it's like it's not like really gruesome, but it is kind of like ugh.
I like how they added the Wilhelm scream for when he's
Oh
getting
yeah,
incinerated.
yeah. The famous Wilhelm scream. Oh my
It's
god.
like, wait, was he a stormtrooper? Oh, I didn't know that.
It just it improves every scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they
Sure.
win. We see that Cronin got impaled. It is Cronin, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was younger, because I hadn't seen this movie in ages, I just remembered his name's been Kronos or something. so, so I keep getting mixed up, but no, it's Cronin. Yeah, so
Kronos, yeah.
he's impaled, and the good guys win the day and close the portal. We get a glimpse into the portal, and we see this big monster in some kind of like he's encased in something. And
Yeah, it's like this kind of giant shard in the sky with like 7 parts coming out of it.
yeah, yeah, it's really cool
Yeah.
looking. Like it's a really cool shot.
Well, it is like that whole. I will give this film a lot of credit because it's based on the first 3 Hellboy comics, which is a 3-part story,
Yeah,
and all of that is all all of it is in the comic. Like that big shard in the sky, a lot of the lines, a lot of the dialogue, like it was pretty faithful
yeah,
adaptation. With some other stuff sprinkled in, from other Hellboy comics, like the scene where he has a dead fella on his back and he's talking to him. That's from a different Hellboy comic, but it's really nice how they added that in.
they incorporated in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they win the day. They close the portal, and Broom says that the portal was open for long enough that he's not sure that something didn't come true. So he's like, we need to search the area, and we will see that Cronin, who was impaled, he's not there anymore. So he obviously wasn't dead. He escaped, and they noticed that. They're like, oh shit. But then one of the soldiers starts shooting at. They think it's a little monkey. They think it's an ape,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it is little Hellboy, little infant Hellboy. And Broom's like, that's no monkey. Look, his skin's all red. And one of the soldiers spots his big hand, and he goes, what does he say? That's some whammer he's got there. That made me laugh, just the way he delivered that line as well.
Stephen, I'm really sorry, but do you mind if we pause?
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
All right, we're back. We just had a little bit of a technical hiccup. So yeah, we were on the part, I believe, where they had just found little young Hellboy, and yeah, one of the soldiers says, "Man, that's some whammer he has there," referencing his big hand, and yeah, that made me laugh quite a bit. And then yeah, John Hurt's character, Dr. Broom, is like, no, that's no ape. It's his skin's all red and all this kind of stuff, and then he hands him a little chocolate bar, which wins him over, helps gains his trust, and that's our
Yeah.
introduction to Hellboy. So, from the very beginning, his first introduction to our world is people being hostile towards him, shooting at him. So, not great, not a great start.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the fear of the unusual,
Yeah,
like
which we'll see a
John
lot.
Hurt's looking at it like, oh, it's a baby, but the rest of them are looking at it like, oh, it's a monster, kill it,
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that throughout this movie, that theme of being different and an outsider and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And then we get our opening credits where we see little glimpses of Hellboy and Hellboy comics and people claiming that it seems that like there have been sightings of Hellboy, so people are, you know, theorizing that he's real, and that he's out there. And then we see one of the characters, your man from Arrested Development. What's his name again? I'll just bring
Jeffrey Tambor.
Jeffrey Tambor, his character, on TV saying that no, it's all BS. There's, you know, I think he says, does he say there's no such thing as like the paranormal unit or something like that?
He says yeah, he says something like, whenever we see these pictures of Bigfoot or whatever, why are they all out of focus?
Yeah,
Plots. And then like later on in the film, it's like 200 people in a subway just see him right in front of them. It's like, how are you gonna cover all this up forever?
yeah, exactly. Um,
It's cool that they went with the Bigfoot angle of it though, you know, where he's kind of an urban myth.
yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
like that, yeah.
I liked that. Yeah, like people might have spotted him jumping from rooftop to rooftop or something. All that kind of stuff. And we also find out that Broom has cancer, and
That's right, yeah.
yeah, and he doesn't want. Did the doctors? The doctors, did they tell him?
I think we find out through Abe, because
Yeah,
Abe
yeah,
Sapien puts his hand on his chest and he says, "Oh, you're dying."
yeah,
Because you know how he can read, he's like an empath. You know, he can read people's thoughts and emotions and stuff.
yeah. We're almost at our introduction to Abe. He's a great character, and
Yeah, we're
um,
skipping a bit here. Sorry,
no,
we're
no, no,
skipping a
it's
beat.
grand. It's all good. We can jump back and forth. So then we get introduced to Agent Myers, who comes up to this building. Um, it's disguised like on the outside. It seems like what was it? Uh,
Oh, squeaky clean garbage, I think it was
yes,
called.
that was
Garbage
it.
disposal
Yeah.
units. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it appears to be on the outside, but he gets his eyeball scanned and he goes in and I loved how the whole thing looks from here. So he goes into the building and then they're like they say like mind your arms and knees or something like that, and he's like why? And then the floor
Yeah.
starts to go down, and
Yeah.
then yeah, we see what this place really is, and he enters the area where Abe is, and the set design here is incredible. I think. Um,
Yeah. There's I really liked Myers in this film because I think he's playing the audience. You
yeah,
know, he's like the naive mind who knows nothing,
yeah. He's
and I
like
like that
the
because
yeah,
yeah,
he's like the gateway character.
yeah, he's the bystander who's getting introduced to all this shit, and he's like, what? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so we're all kind of on the same page as him
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
he's bringing us into this world,
Yeah.
and then yeah, then we
I
get to
also,
you go for it.
sorry, I also love the trope that you see in films around this time where they're standing on the floor and then the floor is like an elevator that goes down like 500 miles.
Yeah,
You know, like Men in Black
yeah, yeah.
and Kingsman. I think Kingsman made fun of it. He goes, "How deep does this fucking thing go?" And yeah, a few films had it. I'm trying to think of other ones, but yeah. Anyway, that's a cinema trope that I'm
Yeah,
a fan of.
it's a commonly done thing. It's a fun one. It's a fun trope.
Yeah, it leaves you wondering. It's like, oh, we're going somewhere now. We're going
Yeah.
somewhere top secret.
What could it be? What's down here?
Mm,
Yeah, so we get introduced to Abe, who asks Myers to turn a page. He's reading a book. So Abe is in this tank full of water, and there's a book on
yeah.
the outside, and he's asking him to turn the page and stuff. And um, Abe and Hellboy, like their makeup effects are incredible. I think they still look really, really good.
Yeah, I would say so too. And you know, you don't see any kind of seams or anything. It looks legit. Like it's
It's very
like
convincing.
Hellboy's head is very smooth,
Hmm.
you know? And it's the same with Abe, really. I mean, like Abe blinks and everything, and not for a second do you think like, oh, that's just a cheap fucking prosthetic. It actually looks legit, like that he's an underwater creature. That he looks like one, yeah.
Yeah, and we find out that like so Abe starts reading Myers's mind. So Abe can he can dig into your head and find out lots of stuff about you. Um,
Mm.
And he's just, apart
Yeah.
from like the quality of the makeup effects, his character design is great. I love it a lot.
Yeah, I really like how he's called Abraham Sapien because he was found the day that Abraham Lincoln was shot.
Yeah, that's a cool little touch.
That's such a cool piece of like comic lore.
Yeah,
Like it's like
yeah.
yeah, it was really interesting that they wrote that. Yeah.
And then we find out why Myers is here. So Broom brings him in to meet Hellboy. So Myers is going to be the guy who um he tails Hellboy. He's gonna like accompany him wherever he goes, all that kind of stuff. And he sees Hellboy and he's like, "Oh man, you're real." So
Mm.
he can't believe that he's kind of staring at Hellboy like because
Yeah.
him like everyone else wasn't sure if he was actually real, but he is. Um,
Yeah.
and we find out that Hellboy likes cats.
I know. I was about to say in that shot where we see him for the first time, he's all strong and he's lighting a cigar and he's making all these wisecracks and all, and he's surrounded by kittens.
Yeah.
So with all this tough exterior, he actually has a real kind of sweetheart underneath it all.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, he has a soft spot for kittens, which comes into play later. Um,
it does. Yeah,
yeah. So it's like his personality in this one is like he's sort of like a stroppy teenager. He
I think so too. I was about to say because your man opens the door to Myers to let him in, and he goes, "Oh, he's grounded." And
yeah,
so it's like, what is he like a child? But yeah, I'd say you're right. He is actually quite childish
they say like
as a person.
yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't age like we do, so they say like cuz Broom's an old man now, so like I can't remember how many years has passed, but it's been a lot. Was it like uh,
I think it was 40 years in the film,
40
something
years
like
or
that.
something like that? Yeah. But he doesn't age like us, so he's kind of hit his teenage years.
Yeah.
And we find out that so he removed his horns because he wants to fit in with everyone else. So he removed them and he files them down so they don't grow and stuff. And I really like that touch with the character, just the look of it and why he does it. Um,
Yeah, it's an interesting design choice, you could say. Like it makes him feel like he's more human.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
But
and
even if it's a small bit, like, it's like he'd never like his head is red and he's 7 foot tall and he's a giant and all, but like if shaving the horns, if it makes him feel like he can fit in a little bit more, I think. And that's kind of a sweet thing to add to his character.
yeah,
Adds layer of depth.
I like that touch. And like later we'll find out that he says to Liz, so Liz is his love interest. He says that I wish I could change how I look, basically. So like he's very aware that he's like that he doesn't fit in. Even like one of the agents, Manning. Um, is it Manning? I'll just call him Arrested Development bloke.
Right, Arrested Development agent.
Yeah, like later he's like ridiculing him for being like a freak, and Hellboy loses his temper, and because Hellboy he's quite bad tempered and impulsive, and gets quite jealous as well. So like very much that like teenager trying to figure out his emotions.
Yeah, you can kind of see, I could kind of understand why Liz didn't really want to be with him as well, because her power, which is like pyrokinesis, she can like blow up an entire building if she gets angry. And if she's around him and he's real and petulant and, hot-headed,
Yeah, yeah,
he's probably going to cause her to set off her powers all the time.
yeah. That's a good point. That could be like a genuine worry for her. Like she wants someone a bit more calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
I think
So
we get that in the dynamic of the film, though, that he's kind of trying to change for her.
yeah, yeah,
We meet them and they're already broken up. So we meet them and they already have a past together.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Um.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Myers gets acquainted with Hellboy. Broom, is it Broom or one of the other agents? Someone says to him like, "Don't stare." He doesn't like it when you stare. And he's like, stare at what? And he's like, the horns or the lack thereof and stuff. So we get a lot from Hellboy in this scene about how he feels in terms of how he relates to people around him and stuff, and it's really really good. Um,
And the first thing he does is like when the two of them come into the room, the first thing Hellboy says, I think, is how's that hair implant doing to the
Yeah,
agent?
I think it's
It's,
Agent Clay.
he's
Yeah,
just
I liked
yeah,
him. I liked him as a character and
yeah.
his hair implants. And
How's your hair implants or something? He said something real cheeky too.
I think later Hellboy goes, "Oh yeah, I've been thinking about getting that done myself."
That's right, he does. Yeah, he mentions it, and your man is like, "What do you mean it looks like doll's hair?"
Yeah. And there's a close up of it. It looks ridiculous. But
Mm.
good old Agent Clay. He was good. He was a fun character. So then where do we go? What happens next, Jack?
What happens after that is, I believe
They
they
go on
go out
their.
on a mission
Yeah.
together, don't they? They get a call that a museum has been. Is it a museum?
Yeah.
It's kind of a an arts kind of museum or whatever has been broken into by some kind of monster, and they get there in a garbage truck.
Yeah.
It's like
I
that's the
look.
disguise of their vehicle, and it's
Yeah.
quite cleverly done. Like, there's all these people waiting around outside, all press people, and this garbage truck just
Yeah.
casually just drives through the entire crowd.
Yeah. I think someone even
That's pretty
mentions
clever.
it. And I love the way that they can see out of the garbage. So Hellboy and Abe are
Yeah.
in the back, and they can see out. So there's like literally just this thin layer between them and the
Mhm.
crowd of people, and that's really cool. Like that was a cool shot. Um, so yeah,
I
there's
liked
a.
as well that when they pulled open the garbage door opened, that song Red Right Hand was playing.
Oh yeah, by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Yeah, I thought that was such a cool touch,
Yeah,
red right hand because his right hand is
yeah.
fucking massive and red.
That was a nice touch. And Bad Seeds, Seeds of Destruction. Nice, nice little.
Oh, not bad. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's something.
that's a good connection.
Yeah. So yeah, so there's a monster causing havoc. They go in and there's I think we see dead bodies at that point lying around, and
Hmm.
we'll find out that Hellboy likes to walk, not walk, sorry, work alone. Because
Yeah,
someone's offering to go with him. He's like, I like to work alone, so he likes to just do his thing and be useful, and he knows like his value lies in the things he can do, and he just wants to do it. Um,
I would also say that he's afraid of disappointing John Hurt, his father
yeah,
character. I think
yes,
he's afraid of disappointing him because he's there puffing on a cigar, but as soon as he sees him, he hides it around the back of him, and he says, "All right, father." He hides
yeah,
his cigar. Now, why would he hide his cigar? You know,
yeah,
he
yeah,
smokes around everyone else except his father.
yeah, yeah. That's a good little
Yeah.
touch. So yeah, the Hellboy takes on this creature, and we get another really good action scene. There's actually quite a lot of good action in this movie. There is CGI
Mm.
used, of course, but if you compare the CGI in this movie to even modern films, I think it looks really good.
Yeah, it has that kind of 2000s like charm about it.
Yeah,
No, where it's like it's kind of it's obviously CGI or whatever, but it's just fluid enough where you look at it and it's kind of charming. It's like those Fantastic Four films that came out where Reed Richards is stretching his arm and it's completely CGI. It's like that kind of era.
yeah, yeah. I would say
At
this
the
is
time you're a kid, you're like, whoa, I can't believe
yeah.
that.
Although I'd say this one's a touch above most from that time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they use it that often either. Um,
Yeah,
it's only kind of on the really difficult scenes with the monsters and things like that they use it.
yeah. Do you remember the
Mm.
name of the monster they're trying to hunt? It's like it's something like you kill, one falls, two rises. I can't remember the name of
Yeah, it's
the.
like the agent of resurrection, or the Hound of Resurrection, or something
That's
it's called.
something like that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
um, Abe's communicating to Hellboy, and he's like trying to give him information, and Hellboy's like he's not really listening, and he Abe's like, do you want the full amount of information? He's like, nah, 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 nah. So he kills the creature, and then Abe finally fills him in about the resurrection bit, and then we find out that the creature's body isn't there, and yeah, it's a neat action scene. Um,
Yeah, so that fight goes down into the train tracks, doesn't it?
that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
reminding me. Yeah, yeah. It goes down into the train tracks, and I love the bit where the train's hitting him in the head, and his horns are glowing red from heat, and it's just like doing, doing, doing. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
All he's trying to do is get on the train to fight the monster, but your man driving the train is there whacking him with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then he knocks him off, and everyone's like, "Yay!"
I mean that bit ties into everything really well in the way that like he's there to help and save people, but just because
Yeah,
of the way he looks, they assume he's a bad guy.
it's kind of like it's kind of like the Shrek message, you know. They're judging him because he looks scary, you know. They're not actually giving him a chance.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah, yeah, exactly that kind of thing. And
Mm.
yeah, Hellboy's like, I'm on your side, and he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, sure
But to
you
be
are,
honest, have you
buddy.
seen that? Like, if you've never seen it before and you see this trying to get on your train, I'd say 9 people out of 10 would probably panic and do something stupid like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Realistically,
I'd assume it's really good cosplay.
like.
Because like, what else can your brain do? Like,
Yeah, I mean, maybe try and help him, and if he tries to kill you, then get the fire extinguisher out.
and yeah, so when that scene concludes, we will find out that the monster had laid a little egg in one of Hellboy's wounds. Oh no, was it a little
Yeah.
creature attached to him, and that laid an egg, something like that. And Hellboy has acid burns on him.
I think we missed a bit because I think there's a scene on the street before the train tracks.
With him and Myers.
That's right.
Yeah,
And he finds the thing in his arm, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
And then the train thing happens. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, 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 exactly. And then yeah,
I forgot as well, so.
we later we find out that there's a little egg implanted in his arm, and when they're back at headquarters and they extract it, and they go he it planted an egg in you, and Hellboy says something like he didn't even buy me dinner first. Just
I know.
oh, that was good. This
Oh,
movie has some really good humor throughout, just to kind of break it all up. I
you
think
know
it's
what? He's one of these characters who quips.
he's
He's
a
like Spider-Man when he's fighting someone.
yeah, he's a quipper.
Yeah, when he's fighting the frog later on in the film, he fights the frog monster, the hound again, and he picks up a phone off the wall and he goes, "It's for you," and then he clonks him with it.
Or the monster tries to grab him with his long tongue, and he's like, no tongue on a second date.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's good. It's like some of the quips are good. So when they find
yeah.
the egg on Hellboy, they're like, "Oh, we've no idea how many eggs this thing might have planted." So they have to go back and inspect the area, and um, they
Mm.
find another couple of monsters. There's a scene where Hellboy's with some agents, and he spots Cronin, I believe. Yeah, he does at that point. And
Oh,
he,
when they're down kind of in the sewers
yeah,
area.
yeah. So they're searching
Yeah,
for these eggs that
yeah, exactly.
they're trying to like they have to clean up the area as it was. And so we see that like he's very impulsive, so he runs off and chases down Cronin, but that leaves the agents vulnerable. And
Mm.
he'll get shit for that later on. So that's when our good old boy Agent Clay, he gets it.
Um,
He dies.
yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
the hair transplant didn't last long.
Now he needs an everything transplant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, at least he's going to heaven with nice hair. You know,
He looked good at the pearly gates.
like look on the bright side. Did you want a receding hairline in the afterlife? Nah.
Not unless you look like Jason Statham, like a real badass.
But look, I mean, actually, yeah. So I think I'd rather go bald, to be honest, than get a hair transplant. Like this, bald looks good on certain men. I'll
that
take
that
that risk.
that should have been his character arc where he learns that he's like, "Do you know what? I look like a fucking badass bald."
Yeah, imagine like if they kept him alive in the second film, he loses all his hair. He's like, you know what? this is good.
Yeah, and
And
it's
then he
all
finds out who he really is.
yeah, it's all really funny, but it does tie into that whole bit about like being conscious of what you look like and stuff. Like, sorta, kinda does a little bit. It's mostly just
Yeah.
for fun and comedy, but there's something there.
Mm. And I think that's why, like, because I get the impression him and Hellboy did get along.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, they seem to.
they just kind of jabbed at each other like how mates do.
Yeah, bantering
Because
and
Hellboy finds him and he's kind of a bit upset that he's dead, like for maybe a second or two, because
yeah.
um
I think he realizes in that moment as well that
yeah
he kind of messed up by abandoning them.
yeah because he like you said earlier, like Hellboy, he asks him about his hair. Hellboy goes, man, I'm thinking of doing it myself.
Yeah.
You know.
So
So I
yeah,
could, I could gather that they were probably mates.
yeah. Um, so yeah, he gets shit from that later when they're back at their base. Was it? It was around that time as well where Abe went into the water, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. And Abe says a great line when Hellboy opens up the grate or whatever, the water's underneath it, and Abe looks at him and goes, "What a charming line of work we're in."
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's so sarcastic. I love it.
I love his whole performance and his voice is perfect. I think the voice suits him perfectly.
Yeah, there's no real like question that it's a dude in a costume. Like, he's very convincing. Like, every kind of element about him works.
Yeah,
Um, Even to the point where his voice and the kind of head twitches he does.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think he's a good character.
So yeah, he's down in the water trying to see if he can find any more of the eggs, and he finds a few. And there's a bit of an encounter, isn't there, with another monster? Was
Yes, and I believe they go back to the train station for the second time. Oh no, wait. So
Yeah, they've went back
Hellboy,
already, and then this all happens, and Abe's in the water, kind of trying to get rid of all these eggs he finds. So yeah, so we're in the train station for the second time.
yeah, we're back in the train station, and yeah, he's fighting the monster again. Uh, and he says they're fighting away, and he gets knocked into a wall, and a ceiling tile falls on his head. Remember
Yeah, yeah,
that?
yeah.
And he goes, "Ow!"
um, and that's when yeah, so Cronin. Oh, there's a great bit where one of the agents is pointing at the monster, and he says something like, "Oh, don't worry, there's only one of them. I got him." And he's like, "There was two," and then they get taken by surprise. And then yeah, a little
Hmm.
bit after that, Cronin kills. It's either one agent or two agents, and then he lies down and he does this thing with his chest. He twists something in his chest, and he appears to be dead because he wants to be captured. Um, so they end up taking Cronin's body back to their headquarters, and
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
yeah, because this is obviously
that's
this is a trap.
yeah. And
Uh,
yeah, that's where John Hurt explains to, well, he uses a recorder, which I think was a clever exposition device,
yeah,
because he's recording his narration of how this guy was addicted. He is like a masochist, and he's addicted to doing surgery on himself and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And
We
I thought
see,
the recorder was a good device for that, rather than just having some other irrelevant person there that he's telling him about it.
yeah, yeah, exactly, and we get to see Cronin without any of his gear on. We see him in all his glory, and he looks pretty gruesome. Like, he's freaky looking.
Oh,
He
he's disgusting. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's awful.
he's had his eyelids removed. He's had his upper and bottom lips removed. He as we said before, his blood is just sand, and he's got scars all over himself. And he yeah, as we said,
He's gruesome looking. Yeah.
he has a surgical addiction. Um,
Which is something, that's a concept I've never heard of, by the way. That was brand new to me. I was like, this,
I've had heard of people who are like that in real life, where they just get one thing done and then another thing and another thing, and then they just can't stop. Like, it's awful.
oh, I would know that it exists in the cosmetic surgery realm,
Yeah,
because you know how, some women or some men might get one plastic surgery done, and then they go back, and next thing you know, they have 10 or 12 of them done.
yeah, yeah.
But the stuff of like removing limbs and skin and eyelids and stuff, that I never heard anything like that
That's
before.
a touch further, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's flipping the whole concept on its head, like yeah.
But yeah, this is all a ruse. So he, when he's alone, he kind of
Mhm.
stands up, and there's a shot where like that sheet is over his face, and you see his eyes because he's no eyelids, and it's really, really freaky looking.
I
He's
know, man. The lips freaked me out to bits. Like I couldn't look at him.
yeah, yeah,
You know how he has no lips and you just see gums.
yeah.
It's
It's
fucking
the
so
eyelids
gross.
that did it for me, like not being able to blink. Like,
Oh, can you imagine how dry your eyes would go
yeah.
and how much stuff they'd gather? You'd probably go blind,
Oh, you would,
to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah. How would
Uh,
you sleep? Just
Face down.
lie there looking at the ceiling. Yeah, face down. Just get
Pair
one of
of
those eye
goggles.
masks. It's like, oh, these were designed specifically for me.
Yeah, just a pair of goggles.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, Joe, fill your goggles full of water and then put them on and then go for your sleep.
Yeah, but paint the outside of them black so you can't see out of them.
That should have been like a little side story for Cronin.
Yeah, that should have been part of the merchandise.
A day in the life of Cronin, just his everyday life and struggles.
Yeah, he's like, well, I got no lips, so I can't really kiss anyone without just rubbing my teeth against them, and I can't blink.
On the plus side, it's easy to brush my teeth.
Yeah, he's just there doing Clockwork Orange to himself
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
eye drops every night.
But John Hurt's looking at him when he's all exposed, and he's like, "What kind of monster would keep a creature such as this alive?" You know,
Yeah.
implying that like Rasputin is responsible for keeping him around. I think.
Mm.
So yeah, he gets his gear when he's all alone, and then John Hurt finds a clue, which hints at where they should go next. But that's obviously planted there because the baddies want them in a certain location. So we see this really cool shot of him in the background coming down the stairs, Cronin, and
Yeah.
just behind John Hurt, and then John Hurt says, "I see the puppet, but where's the master?" And then we see Rasputin is there, and
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, and then
Um,
they
he
have a
orders Cronin to
yeah,
kill him, doesn't he?
he does, yeah. So just before that, he says like, before you die, I'm going to show you a vision of the future. He's going to give him a spoiler.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
um,
Spoiler alert.
yeah, so he
We should have said this at the beginning. I don't think we gave a spoiler alert, did we?
anyone who's watched ZTDs know like it's all spoilers.
Yeah, for sure. It's a movie review. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he touches him on the forehead and he shows him a clip of the future, and we see that there has been an apocalypse caused by Hellboy. So Hellboy's right hand is the key to opening the doorway to
Mm.
somewhere nasty, somewhere
It's
not.
such a cool shot as well.
Oh
When he's
man,
all
yeah,
fucking fired up and the city is burnt to bits behind him. It's
yeah.
class.
And then like his horns are fully grown. Like we see all his full horns,
Yeah.
and it looks so badass. Like I think he looks great. Um,
Yeah. There was a nice touch with Rasputin in this film as well. I don't know how the filmmakers exactly did it, but there is something about the Rasputin in the comics. There's always smoke coming off him,
right.
like his head and his hands. And they actually did this in this film.
Oh man, that's a detail
Like
I didn't notice. That's interesting.
it's very, very subtle, but there's like steam coming off his head in certain scenes.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, so they actually went to the effort of doing that. Like, other filmmakers would be like, ah, no, forget it. But like, that's a real good attention to detail, I think.
yeah. That's a neat little thing. As you said, there's a few little things they take from the comics. Maybe not necessarily the first three issues, but little things from here and there, which is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, if Cronin is a character from the comics, then he wasn't in the one I read, so that was a nice addition to just add in other characters. I like when films do that. They
Yeah,
use the IP.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
anyone really familiar with the comics, let us know in the comments. Is he a character from one of the comic books? Myself and Jack
Mm.
have not read all of them.
What I will say is that that isn't how John Hurt's character dies in the comics. Shall I? Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah,
Or are you going to
so
read it?
spoilers for people who might want to read the comic, but Jack's gonna spoil it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so there's kind of with these creatures, the Hound of Resurrection, as they call it in the film, they're kind of like super over evolved frogs, and they're like man-sized lizard frogs in the comic, and they can infect you.
Right.
And I think this is where they were gonna go when I was watching this, where they stabbed Hellboy with the thing. I thought he was gonna get the frog infection, but he didn't. But the frog infection kind of thing is how John Hurt dies in the comic.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so he gets infected and he just keels over, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Um,
But I suppose like having Cronin kill him in this one, it strengthens the rivalry. I suppose you could say. I don't know if they planned on doing a sequel or whatever
right.
initially, but I think it worked with the narrative.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
just before all this happened, we had a really funny sequence with Liz and Myers are out on the street having a coffee together, and he gets really jealous, and he's following them
oh,
around, and this sequence is pretty fun.
I love it. Yeah, it's
Um,
great.
so he's like jumping around from rooftop to rooftop, following them, looking down at them, and they sit on a park bench, and on the rooftop, a little boy spots Hellboy. He's just like, "Shush, I'm on a mission," and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
little boy goes and gets some cookies.
yeah. I like that scene with the little kid because he's like, why don't you just tell her how you feel? He's like, shut up, you're 9, you can't give me advice. And it's
Well,
like, but he's actually giving you good
he's
advice.
he's dead right. It's like, ah, shut
And
up. What
like
do you know, kid?
if a child is telling you that, it kind of speaks to how childish Hellboy is being about the whole thing, you
Oh,
know?
absolutely. Like, even when your man, he does this whole yawn and puts his arm around Liz,
Yeah.
and Hellboy pegs a stone right at his head. And like, man, at that speed, at that distance, you could have killed the bloke.
Yeah. And he's here with the telescope and he got like milk in her coffee and it's like, huh, she doesn't like milk. Fucking idiot.
It's so childish and funny. I love that aspect. Like,
Yeah.
that the whole petulant child and the stroppy teenager sort of angle. I think, and Ron Perlman plays it just brilliantly. I think he's great at balancing all those aspects.
Yeah, he is like he's such an interesting character in this film, like altogether, because you can see the layers. Like
Yeah,
he's insecure about Myers going on a date with Liz
yeah,
because he's a better looking dude than you
yeah.
know.
He brings it up
Um,
like later with Liz, where he's like,
yeah,
I know he looks normal and I don't, and all this kind of stuff, and you really feel for him.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but you know,
yeah.
we'll
That was a great scene. So it was
yeah,
very
when
like
he
loads of good jokes and stuff.
yeah, when he chucked the
Um,
rock at his head, I couldn't stop laughing.
yeah, it's so funny. Do you know
Because
when he jumps over the building and you see that kind of where he's flopping his arms? He's like, "Oh crap!"
yeah, 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 it's great. There's loads of cool little bits like that. Even
Yeah,
like before any of that
yeah,
happens, they're Myers and Liz are just walking and they're talking about Hellboy, and she's like, you know, he's always on my mind, and even right now. And he goes, I feel like he's here with me right now. And then we see a shot of him spying on the two of them.
what was great was he was trying to. Do you remember they were in the base before Liz and Myers went out, and Myers was bringing Hellboy a massive bowl of chili, and he goes, "What's another word for need?" Because he wants to
Oh
tell
yes,
her
yes.
how he feels, and then she comes in, and he's like, I need to tell you something." She goes, "Oh well, I'm going on a date with Myers." Oh man, it's like all of that happens at once.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's like, what's a good word for need? And he goes, well, need's a good word. And he's like, nah, too needy.
Yeah. And then Myers goes, do you want anything else before I leave? Not from you. Like he's
Yeah,
real tick with him over
yeah.
it. Like,
It's so funny. It's so fun. Um,
that was a fun addition to like
yeah,
the story. Like, because Myers is like the new kid on the block,
yeah,
but then you find out that him and Liz have really good chemistry. That like, yeah, so he's
yeah,
not just the new kid. He actually has other shit going on, you know. And
yeah,
yeah, I really like that bit.
yeah. That actor who plays Myers is really good. He does the comedic bits very well, but later on he does the serious bits really well too. I think he's very good in this movie.
Yeah,
Um,
because as the kind of human with no powers, he's not exactly two-dimensional. Um, he can really emote. Like as an actor, you can really see what he's thinking on his
yeah,
face, which I like to see in an actor. You know, it's
yeah,
not like he's being told like there's a fish man in a cage and he's just standing there with no expression. Like you can actually see that this man is genuinely confused
yeah,
in certain parts.
yeah.
Yeah.
We also found out earlier that Hellboy has snuck out of their little headquarters to see Liz every now and then, because Liz was she used to be with them, but then she left, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
She I can't remember why it was that she left. But the scene you're on about, he's basically just trying to convince her to come back because he misses her.
yeah, yeah. So he is,
Yeah.
to Broom's frustration, he sneaks out every now and again to see Liz, and we get a little glimpse of Liz's backstory, which is very tragic. We see her as a little girl, and she's been bullied. I believe they were throwing rocks at her. Um,
Yeah, it was. I actually had a. I wrote that. I wrote down a note about that because that is a scene that's only in dialogue in the comic. So when I
ah,
was watching that film, I was like, oh, they actually filmed the scene
yeah.
of her origin that wasn't in the comic. Like she just said, "I blew up an apartment block and killed whatever people when I was a kid." She just said it out loud. Like so, that
Mm.
was a really nice touch. Like the filmmakers went to the effort with that one.
It was good to see it. And what
Mm.
triggered that scene was Rasputin goes to pay Liz a visit, and he puts it into her head to dream about fire, because he wants her to have an episode, and he wants her to go back to the team and to Hellboy, because he's putting these pieces in place to get them to a certain point. So Rasputin's manipulating the situation. Um,
Yes.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
Liz kind of loses control of her powers, and they put her in an isolated room for a while. Um, and
Hmm.
then the team come for her and bring her back, and Hellboy's obviously delighted. And yeah, and then it's after that we get the little date and that fun sequence where he chucks a rock at his head.
Yeah.
The way he
Yeah.
reacts is very funny as
That
well.
is, it's one of the funniest moments in the film because Myers just stands up and goes, "Hey, who threw that?" You just see the two heads on top of the building.
It's so childish. It's hilarious. Like it's
It
just
really
brilliant.
is. But I think that's why they had a child in the scene, just to show how fucking childish he's being.
Yeah, even in
You know,
comparison. Yeah, yeah. Um,
he can't handle his ex moving on. Like, it's
yeah,
a massive character flaw.
yeah. And then we go from that really light and fun scene to we immediately then find out that or Hellboy and Liz find out that Broom has been killed, and we get a
Hmm.
little funeral sequence and stuff like that. But
I think that's another trope that was around in the 2000s because like Daredevil came out like 2 years before that, and that had a funeral scene in the rain,
yeah,
and so did the Spider-Man, and I think it was just kind of a popular thing. It made films more dramatic if there was a funeral in it with rain.
it was never on a sunny day.
No, no one could have a funeral on a nice day.
Yeah,
But
so
I liked there was another thing that I liked about that funeral scene is that like okay, so he's on the roof of the building and he's brooding, right? So because he's a superhero and he's dark and all this, and he's being drenched by rain, but the makeup isn't like running or fading at all. And I thought that looked class. I thought it looked really good.
yeah,
You know, his whole aesthetic, none of it ran, nothing. It looked like he was just in the rain.
yeah,
It looked legit. It looked really good. Yeah, I
yeah,
thought.
yeah. I mean, it's like with a lot of CGI characters, you can find it hard to believe they're actually there in the scene. But when you go this road with like the practical makeup effects, like your eyes believe that this is a thing in this scene. You know,
Mm.
it gives them more of a physical presence. But yeah.
Yeah,
So
I kind of prefer that in these kind of films when it's, you know, how there's like all CGI helmets and stuff and all that.
oh, they're
Like,
going
and
really
nanotech
overboard with
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it when you can look at it and you can actually put your hand on it and touch it. It looks like something that's real.
Yeah, there was even
I
something that came
prefer
out.
that in superhero films.
There was something that came out recently. I can't remember what it was, but it was like there was even a CGI pigeon. I'm like, why not just get someone to film a real pigeon? Like they overdo see with everything is just a bit too much with the CGI. Like to the point where they're doing it with stuff where it's like, was that really necessary? You know, as you said, like with helmets and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're just in that kind of era of, maybe we're at the age of cinema where people are using it so much that it's all about who can perfect it the most.
Mm.
Because there's films with very, very bad CGI that are even coming out to this day. Like,
Yeah, I
just to give an example, like The Flash came out like 2 years ago, and it was like the fucking, it was, it was just really bad CGI. So, like, I think the superhero genre in particular are trying to perfect the special effects,
I
if you
think
get me.
one of the issues from what I've heard is that a lot of the effects are rushed in these movies, so
Mm.
the VFX artists don't they don't get enough time to polish it because
Yeah.
there's clearly lots
Mm.
of really talented effects, CGI effects people out there, but
Yeah.
they're not always being given enough time, a reasonable amount of time to polish everything.
Yeah, and like in fairness to these VFX people, they have a deadline and they work hours and hours and they put their fingers to the bone because a VFX job for a major film from a major studio is freelance.
Yeah,
So if you don't do a good job, good luck getting hired anywhere else. Like you have to stay up till 4 a.m. every night,
yeah,
fucking putting the hours in, making it look amazing. Yeah,
yeah, and yeah,
which is a massive risk. Like when you think about career choices, like it's a bit of a risky career, isn't it?
it seems that way. Yeah,
Hmm.
and sometimes a bit of a thankless job.
I would say so, but like you do see the fruits of people's labors. Like if you look at Davy Jones, like
Yeah.
whoever the VFX team were on that guy, like they didn't sleep. Like you can tell, you
Mm.
know. Um,
But
but
yes,
aside from that, like with this one, you know how people watch films from like the 2000s and the 90s and go, "Oh, that looks like a PS2 graphics."
yeah,
What I would say to that is right, but PS2 at this time was cutting edge graphics.
yeah, yeah. I've said this before that
You know?
it annoys me when people look at something really old, like say even going further back, we'll say even to the original King Kong, where they really had to innovate, and what they did was really impressive. But now, like a lot of
Yeah.
people look at it and just mock it, and I'm like, you have to appreciate the craft.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you're like living in 1940 or whatever year that came out in, it's like you're watching that going, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
probably terrified by it, yeah,
Yeah.
because you've never seen nothing like it.
Yeah, it annoys me when
Mm.
I show like a younger person one of my like an old movie that I love and they're just laughing at the effects. I'm like, piss off.
I love there's kind of a, I know we're going off topic a little bit here, but I love Ray Harryhausen.
Oh, Jason and
Those
the
old Ray
Argonauts.
Harryhausen flicks.
Yeah,
Man, even though it's stop motion, it's just charming to look at. Like,
it is.
you
But
can,
the effort, like that whole skeleton
yeah, the
fight
effort,
scene,
exactly.
the effort that went into that, and also the choreography and stuff. Like, there's so much to it, and I just
Yeah, and
love
like
it.
building the props and everything must take fucking hours. Like, it's
Yeah. Um.
crazy.
So yeah, then
Anyway, sorry.
our heroes know that they have to go to Moscow, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Um,
And
yeah, they all get in the plane, and I think he doesn't. He goes a few days without talking to anyone. Then he has a very serious conversation with Liz,
yeah,
saying, "Look, I'm always going to look like this, basically."
yeah,
Um, but he says something like, I'll always keep you safe," which I think hits her because it's like
yeah.
she did just see this man get hit by a rock.
And I think she might know what happened. But
Yeah, she looked at him going, "That was a rock. Are you fucking serious?" Like,
he says to her, he goes, "I can promise you two things. I'll always look this good, and I'll never give up on you."
sorry, that was it. Yeah,
Yeah,
never
yeah.
go for it.
Well, but yeah, but he's obviously implying that like I know I don't fit in with everyone, so and
But the thing is, he has something that Myers doesn't have, whereas he can actually prove it. Like he'll never
yeah,
give up on her because he's fireproof.
yeah, yeah. And he's got
You
that
know,
big
whereas
whammer.
he's yeah,
Yeah, and we'll find out later that Liz loves him for who he is.
yeah. It's really sweet.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so they're at this graveyard, and we have
Hmm.
that Agent Manning who's like, "I'm in charge. I'm in charge. We need to form a grid and do all this." And
Oh, he's so obnoxious, man.
he's
I
so
kind of
nice.
love watching him because I've worked under managers like that before.
Yeah,
Who does he think he is? I'm in charge. It's
yeah.
like, mate, you don't have a rock arm. Your arm isn't literally made of rock from hell. I'm sorry. Let's look at the firepower
Yeah,
here. You know?
I love the way he plays it as well, because he's acting like he knows he doesn't really know what the fuck he's doing, but he's trying to look like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah. He's trying to convince it. Like, you know, when Hellboy has the scanner and he's looking for a dead body so he can reanimate it and
Yeah,
get
yeah.
information out of it. He's there, Jeffrey Tambor's there, and he's talking to the rest of the crew, going, "I'm in charge here, not him." It's like, anyway, who has a power bar? And it's like, what? You're hungry? You're on a fucking mission.
Oh, it's so good. And then yeah, so
Yeah,
Hellboy, like, he says something like he's talking to this amulet or something. He goes, "Give me someone, show me a talker," or something like that. So
yeah. He
basically he's
says,
looking
yeah,
for a dead body that will talk to him, and he finds this one and he puts him on his back, and the dead body then directs him where to go. And it's really cool. It's very the body on his back looks really cool. Like, the whole thing looks really
yeah.
good.
And again, that's from a separate Hellboy comic.
Yeah, you were saying, yeah, that's
I
pretty.
saw the dead body, and he was talking to it, and I was like, like in the first omnibus, there is a comic where he just talks to a skeleton. Like,
Yeah,
so yeah. Sorry, I thought I just mentioned that, but I did like how he was speaking in Russian as well.
yeah, yeah.
And
Uh,
he gets on his back and he says in Russian, the subtitles say like, "If I had legs, I'd kick your ass."
oh, I didn't know that. I wasn't watching it with subtitles. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Oh yeah, he says a few lines in it, and yeah, like there's a bit where um he's falling, you know, when the skeleton falls off him,
Yeah,
and as he's falling, he was like, "I should have stayed dead." Only it's Russian.
that's great. Oh man, that's
Yeah,
cool. I didn't know that. Um,
yeah, because Hellboy says to the other fella, I don't know if it was Myers, it was one of the FBI lads, and he goes, "Here, will you take him? He's being really negative."
yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then so the team gets split up, and
Mhm.
Manning and Hellboy get paired up together, and Manning's doing the usual shit, and he's like, "We need to go back this way," and Hellboy's like, "No, we need to go this way." And he's like, "No,
And he's
I'm
like,
I'm in
"Yeah."
charge. We're going this way." And then something swings along and breaks the little kind of bridge that they're on, and then you see Manning. You'll notice that when that thing breaks, he's actually terrified. They can't go back now, and
Yeah.
he just puts his hand on Hellboy's chest as though, like, you protect me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a little
Oh, there
bit,
was
but I
a
thought it was great.
yeah, I know he's like he's in charge and he's the big man and all this, but like he's looking down at this height and he's holding on to Hellboy.
Yeah, yeah. He's
um,
ridiculing him earlier for being a freak and all this, and now he's kind of like, well, this guy's my saving grace.
yeah, I kind of believe that he has a bit of a small man complex when standing next to Hellboy, so he feels like he has to take him down a peg every time he sees him.
Overcompensate and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he
yeah,
feels intimidated by him, like because he's way cooler than him in every single way.
yeah, basically.
More or
Um,
less, yeah.
yeah, so they're at odds with each other. Hellboy saves him. He grabs him and throws him through a door that's closing, um, so he doesn't get
And
trapped.
and then after he throws him, he does like you know what Legolas does in Hobbit,
Oh
where the
yes,
bridge is
yes,
going down and he's running along it.
yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, it was
That was
fun.
awesome.
That was fun. And then
That's so funny.
the two of them end up in a fight with Cronin, and
That's right, yeah. I was about to say Cronin is like there's an interesting kind of feat this character does where he never relies on the element of surprise. Like every scene he's in where he's about to fight them, he lets them know his presence.
right,
You notice that because the three main scenes with him, the first one, he just shows up in front of Hellboy. He doesn't try to sneak up on him. And the
Yeah.
second one, he just walks up behind John Hurt on the stairs. And in this one, they walk down the corridor and he's just sitting there. Like it's funny how he never goes for the element of surprise. I just found that strange about him.
Right. Oh yeah, he's sitting
Yeah.
there, and then they're sneaking up on him, and he hears Manning cut himself off his spike. He's like,
Yeah,
"Ow,
yeah.
it cut really deep," and
It's like his finger. It's like
yeah,
the tip of his finger got cut. Yeah.
yeah. So Cronin knows they're coming, and then when they turn back, he's not on his chair anymore. Does he surprise them then? No, or does he? I can't remember. Does
No, the trap door goes.
yeah. Right,
Yeah.
and
Hellboy grabs onto the rope and
yeah,
Manning gets out and starts throwing discs at him.
yeah. He's like, "Don't you dare!" These
Yeah.
cogs. He's just throwing them at him. Um,
Mm.
There's a bit where Cronin slashes at him, and it just about misses, so it cuts the sleeve of his jacket, and Manning falls down, and he just goes, "What is your problem?" or something like
Yeah.
that.
It's
Such a
like you're gonna
weird,
try and reason with this guy.
such
Yeah.
a weird reaction. It was funny. But yeah, so through teamwork, Manning and Hellboy take down Cronin. They throw him in a pit, and then while he's impaled in the pit, Hellboy throws this massive cog down on top of him as well. And then
I love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
himself and Manning. So then Hellboy goes to light up a cigar, and Manning's like, no, you don't light them with that. You light them with a wood match. It preserves the flavor. And then they have a moment where they thank each other, and then I think
Yeah.
they start to appreciate each other from that moment.
Yeah. It's like that was kind of they were looking at each other like, okay, we're actually becoming buddies now because we have
Yeah,
one thing in common and that's cigars.
yeah. It was a neat little arc.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a quick arc, I would say.
Yeah, it was
Quick enough.
quick and simple. But I
Yeah.
think Manning appreciated Hellboy in that moment and was glad to have him around.
Mm.
And then yeah, so it all comes to a head when they end up getting captured. I can't remember exactly how they got captured.
Don't they hear? Yeah. Then it cuts to Myers and Liz down in the lower area,
Yeah,
and he's like, "Well, Liz, how do you feel about me? Do you still like Hellboy?" And she goes, "You want to talk about this now?"
yeah. It's like not the time or place.
And Hellboy's there with his ear to the ground, listening.
Yeah.
And he
She's
starts. I believe the creatures start coming to life, and she calls out for him, and he starts punching the ground, and then falls into the chamber below them.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. Hellboy, yeah, he punches through the ground, and then they're all together, and there's monsters around, and there's loads of eggs, and Hellboy ends up getting into trouble because he's been overwhelmed in the fight, and then Liz wants to use her fire powers to help, but to do so, she has to she asks Myers to hit her so it will activate her powers. So he slaps her. He reluctantly slaps her across the face, and then she goes, "You should be running now." So he runs, and then
yeah,
she lets out this blast of fire, which kills all the monsters and the eggs and stuff. But then through all the
yeah,
chaos, the baddies come and they capture our heroes, and we hit our low point in the movie where all seems lost. Um, Hellboy's in.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. No, go on. I'm just listening.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
we're at our low point, and then Myers is chained. Myers is chained up, and then Hellboy is in. He's got his hands and head bound by what do you call it? A pillory or stocks.
I'm not sure actually what you would call that, but it was it was interesting how like Rasputin had it perfectly tailored to the size of his arms.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Because
one
he,
arm is way bigger than the other,
yeah,
and it was perfectly sized. So maybe it was like some kind of old prophecy device that's been there for thousands of years. They were waiting for him, or maybe Rasputin designed it himself. I'm not sure.
yeah. He's saying like this is his destiny to open this doorway, um, and
Yeah,
Hellboy can't use his strength to escape because it has his real name inscribed onto it, which is stopping him from breaking it. Um,
yeah, yeah,
and then we see that Liz is on this sort of altar, and Rasputin walks over to her. She's unconscious, and he's saying to Hellboy, use your arm to open the doorway, or I'll take her soul. And he's like, he refuses to do it. And then Rasputin goes all Shang Tsung and sucks out her soul. Um, And then
Yeah.
Hellboy is kind of no choice. If he wants her soul back, he has to open the doorway. So Rasputin's like, all right, say your true name and your bonds will be broken. And he takes the little beads and the cross away from him and throws it away, and it ends up near Myers.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Myers kind of this is his big moment, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So he's gonna have his moment now in a bit. So Hellboy, it says his real name, which I can't remember off the top of my head. It's some demon name.
Yeah, it was some kind of old satanic sounding name
I
anyway.
remember
Like,
it's not
oh,
Bob
yeah,
anyway. Bob's not his real name.
like Steve Anderson.
Bob Hellman. Steve
Paul
Anderson.
Miller. Oh,
Lou Seffer.
John the Plumber.
So he says his real name, he escapes, and then
Yeah.
he opens the doorway, and then the big freaky fucking monster is about to come through the portal. And so Myers, his hand was covered in blood, and that made it slippy enough that he could release one of his hands, and he grabs the cross and the beads, and he does this cool move on the Rasputin's missus. I can't remember her name. He
Yeah,
yeah,
sweeps the leg and then
yeah.
like kicks her right in the face, knocks her clean out.
Yeah, so Myers is sitting down on his ass and he sweeps her leg and then does this sort of axe kick right down onto her face.
Yeah, Jesus, it looked like he broke her nose.
Oh man, it looked brutal. And then
But I think the handcuff thing, I was wondering how he did it, and the second time when I seen him do it, it clicked with me. I was like, he's an FBI agent. That must have been something he was trained to do.
Possibly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that was my explanation of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
Oh, that's cool. So he throws the beads over to Hellboy, and it kind of, when he grabs him, it burns the cross into his hand, and he says something like, "What was it? Remember who you are. You are who you choose to be," or something along those lines. You know, you have a choice. And
Yeah,
he
it's like, what would your father want?
yeah,
He mentions his father to him, yeah, and that's when Hellboy, I think, snaps out of it.
yeah. So he stops opening this doorway, and he breaks off his horns, which had fully grown back. Like when he said his true name, his horns just rapidly grew, and he breaks them off. And then Rasputin's like, "What are you doing? Or what have you done?" And he goes, "I chose," or something like that. And yeah, so the
Yeah,
monster's not going to come.
that was a great shot, by the way, when he just like fucking rips them off.
Oh,
That was close.
wasn't it so cool?
Yeah.
And then
Awesome.
yeah, and then he was it Hellboy who impales Rasputin, or
He stabs him with one of the horns.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
And Rasputin, I think, he says a line that was like straight from the comic. He goes, "You'll never understand your true power," and Hellboy goes, "Well, then I'm gonna have to learn how to live with that."
Yes.
That's like straight from the comic.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And he says that, and then he picks up Liz's body and he starts walking away. And Rasputin says something like, "I have fallen, but a monster will rise," or something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something comes out of Rasputin, a little a creature, and then it starts to grow. So
It was a bit like an alien John Hurt face hugger scene.
Yeah, it
Pops out from his chest.
He just loves creatures that pop out of people.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, look, you can't have a horror franchise without it happening at least once, right?
There you go. So Myers, Hellboy, are taking Liz out of this area while this monster is growing, and then it grows really big, and then squashes Rasputin and the woman, and then Liz has no pulse, so Myers is like, "Oh yeah, she's no pulse." So Hellboy whispers something to her, and then she comes back to life.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, she said, "I could hear you whispering from beyond," or whatever like that. And she goes, "What did you say?" And he says, "If you don't, basically, if you don't send her back, I'm gonna come over there, and you're gonna be sorry."
You'll be sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So what? Did he just threaten the devil?
I
Did he
don't
threaten
know.
God?
But
Fucking hell, someone was scared of him.
yeah, but it was pretty cool. And then
That was awesome, yeah.
yeah, so like they that's where their story kind of comes full circle, and the whole
And
romance.
he goes back in to fight the monster again, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah. Myers throws him the pack of grenades,
Yep, that's right.
and Hellboy. Yeah, it's a really cool scene when he goes back in and he's fighting the big creature.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been tossed all over the place, and then he ends up going in the mouth with the grenades, and then he's like
Yeah,
just
and he has like there's a bit where he has a sword and he's like slicing off tentacles and all this.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
and then he goes
and it
in.
didn't look. I believe when the bit where he was swinging that sword, I think that was actually Ron Perlman. I don't think that particular part was CGI because it looked as though he was kind of trudging this fucking thing and
Yeah, that's
yeah.
pretty awesome. So yeah, he
Mm.
goes into the monster and he goes, "This is gonna hurt," and then he explodes out of the monster. He sets off the
Yeah,
grenades, and yeah,
gruesome. Yeah.
that's the end of the creature.
Mm.
Um, and that's the kind of the main conflict over, and then um,
And then
what?
he goes back to Liz
Oh yeah, we get that scene.
Myers and he kisses Liz and she kind of goes on fire and then it was like yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was
Sorry,
kind of
that
like
was the resolution to their. That was the kind of wrapping up their kind of arc, the whole
and
romance.
then Myers is there narrating the end of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Um, he says, I think it's something like what makes a man isn't how he starts things, but how he chooses to finish them. I was like, that's a good message right
yeah,
there. Yeah, to take away from a film, like I like when
yeah.
films do that. The final line gives you a nice little thing to remember, and that was
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's like your choices define who you are, not how you started or how you look or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of the film in a nutshell, really.
But before we say that was the end of the film, right?
I think I know where you're
Both
going.
times when I was watching it recently, I was like, where the fuck is Abe?
Yeah, yeah,
He's not in the third act at all. I'm like, what happened to him?
yeah. That was disappointing.
I was like, okay, well, when Hellboy's in the thing, I'm like, right, Abe is gonna come back and he's gonna help him escape. But no, he just what did that actor just take that day off, like the climactic battle in the film?
Abe was on holiday.
Yeah. Or he just got in the plane and went home. He's like, they got it. They got this.
He's like, oh no, it's a graveyard. They freak me out. I'm gonna pop off home.
Yeah, there's no water around here, lads. I'm of no use to you.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
but maybe that was the point. Maybe he just wasn't going to be that useful to them in that scenario. I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah. It would have been kind of cool if like they found out that Rasputin had like caged him up or something.
Mm,
Yeah. And at the end of the film, he gets out of the cage. Just something, just something. I was just,
yeah,
but when they ended the film with the three of them, with Myers and Liz and Hellboy, I was like, oh, come on, where's Abe? Like, I was
yeah,
getting
yeah,
really into the character, and he just didn't show up at the end, and I was a bit gutted by that. But
yeah, yeah. And then
mm.
the very, very end. Like, so you might be wondering what happened to Manning. But we have a post-credit scene where he's still. So they've all gone. They've left, and he's still there. And he's like, "Guys, I'm still in here."
Oh yeah, and like you hear in the background this monster kind of squelching, going,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're like, is he about to get eaten? Is he going to be killed?
I was trying to remember if he was in the sequel. He is in the sequel, is he? I haven't seen it in so long.
I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen Hellboy 2. I bought it on DVD and CEX the other day, and I
Nice.
haven't watched it yet. But I think the last time I seen that it was literally when it came out in cinema.
Yeah, yeah,
So I really couldn't tell you if he's in it or not.
yeah. I can't
But
remember.
with that lines with that cliffhanger,
Yeah, exactly. No, we'll have to watch it.
maybe Abe rescues him. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what happened to Abe.
Some deleted scene. It's I,
Yeah,
Abe, to the rescue. So
yeah,
that concludes Hellboy, and I really, really enjoyed watching over this again. It had been ages since I'd seen it, and I think the look of the movie really holds up, and I like some of the writing in it and the character work. Some of the action set pieces are great. What did you make of
yeah.
it watching it over again?
Well, what I found about it was it doesn't bore you. It doesn't preach anything to you. It's not kind of trying to lecture you about anything or whatever. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
Hmm.
It doesn't, but also it doesn't treat you like an idiot.
Yeah.
Um, I would also even go as far as to say that it's family friendly because it is a kind of edgy, dark horror superhero, but there's nothing that's way too out there where kids can't watch it. I would actually be inclined to show this to like a 10-year-old and not feel bad about it at all because
Yeah.
it's not too horror. It's not like, visceral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you know what it did remind me of as well? Uh, I went back recently and I watched Van Helsing with Hugh
Oh,
Jackman.
that's such a fun movie.
Oh my God, it's so good. And how well that film has aged is the exact kind of same feeling I got off this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know it's 20 years old, but I'm still completely wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie didn't feel like it was over 20 years old.
No, it didn't. It didn't really at all. If you told me this came out in like fucking 5 years ago, I'd be like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That I would believe that for
it's
sure.
it's one of these ones that ages like wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
And there's character beats and cinema tropes and stuff that are in this one that maybe aren't in modern films so much, and I think that's really charming.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like
Um.
the bit where he's chasing his ex-girlfriend because she's on a date and he throws a rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that's the kind of silly moment that I don't think would make it into modern MCU. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure because they do go for goofy and silly a lot in the MCU. So I'm not too sure.
Oh, well, yeah.
Maybe.
Don't
Maybe.
know really. Yeah. Don't know.
Although I'm behind on a lot of them, so I'm not. I can't really speak to that.
Yeah. I'm pretty behind as well, man. I turned off
Endgame.
after Endgame. I watched No Way Home because Tobey Maguire was in it, and I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
felt the need to watch any of the new ones.
Yeah. I think it's like they're all coming out so fast, and it's just you don't know which ones are good or bad, and as well I think some of them you have to watch the TV shows as well. So I just got lost in like what ones to watch and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that whole you have to follow it by the TV show to understand the film kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they did that with the WandaVision and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And so but you have to watch WandaVision first. It's like who writes a film like that? Just write the film as if it's one thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Um
So at the time, Hellboy had a budget of 66 million. So adjust
wow,
for
okay.
inflation in your own heads or calculators. And we're going to look at some of the scores that people gave the movie. So as we know from our game of guess the IMDb score, we know that it scored a 6.9 on IMDb, which is reasonable.
That's
Still a decent score.
but decent, yeah. It's a modest score, yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes is 81% and I almost said Metacritic. Metacritic is 72%. So decent scores all around.
Wow, like 80, what was it on Rotten Tomatoes?
81%.
That's really good. And Rotten Tomatoes, I found, is the harsher one out of the reviewing websites, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I do think that like because it's percents, they sometimes go really low with the percents, but that's really good, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I would say that kind of it deserves that kind of it's just like high like sevens and eights kind of thing.
yeah, like it's very competent. Um, it sets out to do what it does and it does it well. Like
Hmm.
it's not setting out to be Shakespeare and it doesn't need to be. What it does
Yeah,
really well.
it knows where it's at.
Yeah.
It's not trying to do anything else.
Yeah.
It just knows what it is. That's good.
And it's got such a cool fucking style to it. Like it's great.
I love it, man. I really have to say that the whole thing where he brought Nazis into it at the beginning and Rasputin was summoning a demon from a portal in a different dimension. Like
It's a
that's just pure comic book gold
Oh
right
yeah, it
there. Like,
really sets the tone. Like it really like lets you know what you're in
yeah.
for. Um, yeah, it's a great opening. I like it a lot. And then you got Cronin, his whole look. I have a picture of him here on screen. Like it's just such a cool look, and the way he spins his blades around and just You know, his whole look when he's out of his gear as well. Like, I think he's such a great villain.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, yeah, it was. Even his design was pretty cool. Like,
Yeah,
I couldn't really.
and I've always loved Hellboy's design. I always thought he was pretty cool design.
Yeah, man. In general, he's a great looking character. You
Yeah,
know, like the he's a dark supernatural demon fighter slayer, whatever. But he's
yeah,
also part devil. You know,
yeah.
it's class. Yeah, really good concept, really good character. I think he's probably Dark Horse Comics' most famous character that
I
they
would
did.
imagine, yeah, he'd have to be, wouldn't he? He'd definitely be up there.
Yeah.
Um,
Because they did the tie-in comics after like Predator came out
yeah,
and after like the Tomb Raider games came out. So they do a lot of tie-in comics, but this is one of their original characters that really took off.
yeah. I've been toying
Yeah.
around with watching some of the remakes. I don't know how good they're supposed to be. There's the David Harbour one and the Crooked Man. Would you have you seen any of them? Would you recommend?
Well, I've bought them leading up to this, but I haven't actually
Yeah,
gotten around to watching them yet. So I have the David Harbour one and I have the Crooked Man because this review leading up to it sparked my curiosity because I was a huge fan of Hellboy when I was a kid. So I was like, I'd love to watch the new films, you know.
yeah. Let me know. Let me
So
know. And
I got them, and yeah, like if you want to do the Crooked Man, I'm happy with that, or the David Harbour one. I've heard the David Harbour one is a bit shite,
right, okay,
but we'll give it a go anyway. It's
yeah.
up to
Do you know
yourself.
what? If you watch them and you think they're worth talking about, let me know, and we might set that up for sure.
Okay, I'll let you know what the Crooked Man is like in particular because that's a fan film.
Yeah,
That
I was
it's so weird. Like it's
intrigued.
apparently it's a fan film that Dark Horse bought and distributed as a DVD.
I heard something like that was originally free on YouTube or something, and then they
Yeah.
bought it, and then did they add to it or something? I don't know, but
I'm not sure really, but that's I mean credit to whoever the makers are of the fan film because fan films take ages to make and
yeah,
you have to be really passionate about a project like that to do it for free. And for
mm,
Dark Horse to see that and go, damn, that's good, we'll buy it off you. That's fucking some achievement for any director, you know.
yeah,
So fair play to whoever made it.
yeah.
Now I say fair play, I haven't seen the damn thing yet, so
It could be awful. We'll see. At least they made it. Fair play to them for that.
yeah,
Um,
fair play to them. 'Cause,
so
I'm actually part of a fan film at the minute. Me and a few Um, a few young filmmakers are doing a fan film down in Wicklow, and man, it takes ages to get one of these things done.
all right,
So
what's that
it's a
about?
very
Can you say more?
well. I'm working with a young director called Robin Tamlin, and he's directed like small projects with his friends and stuff like this. But this is his first proper one, and his twin brother is also an actor in the film. And it's a Star Wars fan project where this Jedi, who's played by this woman called Petra, who's actually a professional actress. Like she works for Netflix and things like this.
Yeah.
So it was a real honor to work with these people. And she's playing the Jedi, and I'm playing the Sith Lord hunting her down.
Oh, fantastic.
Man, I can't wait to put it online because it's like because I study fencing, I do sword fighting, right? So I got to just flex every sword fighting muscle in my body with
That
this
is
film,
so
and
cool.
I
Oh,
can't wait
do you
for it to
know
come out. They're such a great crew.
when it comes out, we'll cover it on this.
But man, I would love if you'd be up for sharing it or just mentioning it or whatever, because
Yeah,
I
100%.
don't really know what the social media presence or campaign is going to be like for this thing. But
Oh,
when I see things like the Crooked Man, I'm like, if that was made by fans, right? It like we're doing the exact same thing, and it's
yeah,
taken ages,
yeah.
you know.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
Jack, where can everyone find you and your work?
You can find me on Instagram at Tales of Centiverse, or if you want to read my first graphic novel, Pirate Hunter, you can find it on talesofcentiverse.com, or there's comic book shops also across Ireland that are selling it, like Forbidden Planet and all that. Uh, or I have a YouTube channel, but I don't I don't really upload very often. But I'm getting back into it, so you might see me back on YouTube in a little while.
what's
But
the
mainly Instagram, yeah.
what's the name of your channel?
It's just my name.
Which is? I forgot already.
Owen Quinn.
Go to owenquinn.com/YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh man.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be typing in Owen Quinn for. It's like, I think Owen might actually have a YouTube channel, so you might just have given him a bump.
All right, well, yeah, like and subscribe to Owen Quinn
Yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube.
He mostly talks about like My Little Pony and the Smurfs and that kind of thing, and
Awesome.
yeah, I mean,
You know,
he's just so passionate about ponies.
well, whatever you're into, man. I mean, I don't know anything really about ponies, but I fell
Man,
off a horse once.
oh yeah.
Kind of the extent of my experience with horses. Fell off a horse.
Well, you know what they say, when you fall off a horse, you just get right back up on that thing and
Oh yeah, as in the wise words of Tobey Maguire.
get back on that horse, Jack.
Yeah.
All right, you can follow me at Stephen Carey Stories on Instagram, and there'll be links in the description if you want to go check those out. Next up, I have another guest for a round of quickfire questions, which is always really fun. And I will be recording that on Monday. I don't know exactly when it'll be out. Probably Thursday. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks everyone for listening to this. If you've made it all the way to the end, well done. You're a legend. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out all of Jack's stuff. He's a very talented creator.
Oh, thanks very much, Stephen, and be sure to check out that last interview you did as well with Michael Carroll. That was fantastic. Like,
Oh yes, that was
yeah,
so Judge
really
Dredd
insightful.
writer Michael Carroll jumped on for a chat, and it was so much fun. Michael's just a lovely dude, really funny, really informative. So check that out if you haven't watched that. All right, Jack. Thanks a million for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me on again, Stephen, and I look forward to next time, whatever it might be.
Whatever madcap idea. Do you know what? I'm toiling around in the SC Stories laboratory for another thing to run Jack through. Jack has been my guinea pig for several things now, and it's always worked out great. So
You know what, right? They do tend to work out, but like a lot of it's just ad libbing. I've never done this ad libbing in my life.
yeah. Oh, it's the
I have
best.
an idea for a video that I want to put to you, but I can't tell you what it is because then you'll be able to research it if you're up for humoring it one of the days.
Do you know what? After this, you can throw some hints at me so that viewers don't know. We don't want to spoil it.
Right, it's kind of like
No,
you
no,
know
no.
how we
After
did.
after the video, so there's no spoilers.
Oh, okay, I see. Right, okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
we're gonna
I'll clue you
do
in.
behind the scenes secret super talk off air, where Jack just says
Yeah,
everything
super
that's
secret until we release it.
yeah, where Jack just says what's really on his mind, all those controversial thoughts he has.
Oh, yeah, I just to tell you all the stuff that I'd potentially get cancelled for.
Get cancelled on your own channel. Leave mine out of it.
Oh yeah, oh no, I won't cancel your show. When
All
I'm
right,
in court,
everyone.
I'll be
See
like,
you.
okay, just do what you want to me. Just leave Stephen Carey out of this.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We'll be back soon. Bye bye.
Bye now.